Welcome back, everyone. We're about to go deep, really deep, into some of the most bizarre objects in our solar system.
You think you know space, right? Planets, stars, the usual suspects.
Well, get ready to have your mind blown.
Because today, we're diving into a podcast that exposed me to some truly weird, truly unexpected stuff lurking around our cosmic neighborhood.
It's like the solar system's got a secret stash of oddities.
And we've got the keys to unlock it.
Let's talk the Kuiper Belt.
Way, way out there past Neptune.
It's like the solar system's attic.
Full of icy remnants from the early days.
And in that attic, we find Haumea,
A dwarf planet.
but not just any dwarf planet.
This one's shaped like a giant spinning football.
A football
Yeah.
in space. How does a planet get a shape like that?
Haumea's spinning ridiculously fast.
Like Olympic figure skater fast.
Faster, actually. It's the fastest spinning large object in our whole solar system.
Whoa. Okay, so it's spinning like crazy.
And that centrifugal force, that outward push from the spinning,
Yeah, I remember that from science class.
it stretches Haumea outward, just like spinning pizza dough.
Ah, so it gets all stretched out at the equator.
Exactly. And here's another shocker.
Hit me with it.
Haumea has rings.
Rings. Like Saturn.
Yep. Rings.
But I thought rings were only for the big gas giants.
Not anymore. Haumea's breaking all the rules.
Okay, rings, but there's more, right? That's not all.
Oh, there's more.
Lay it on me.
Haumea also has 2 moons?
2 moons, so it's like a mini solar system out there.
A mini system shaped like a football, spinning wildly, and sporting rings.
It's like the ultimate cosmic rebel.
It really is. Now, how did Haumea get so messed up?
Yeah, what happened to this poor dwarf planet?
Well, astronomers think it probably had a really, really bad day a long time ago.
Oh no, what kind of bad day?
We're talking cosmic collision.
Something smashed into it.
Something big, yeah.
Ouch.
That impact would send Haumea spinning like crazy.
And stretched it out like that.
Exactly. And flung debris everywhere.
Debris that became the moons.
And the rings. It's like a cosmic hit and run, leaving Haumea with its unique, shall we say, features.
So a cosmic accident created this bizarre little world,
It just goes to show you space is full of surprises.
and we're just getting started.
Now, from the chilly depths of the Kuiper Belt,
Let's crank up the heat.
and journey to a moon that makes Earth's volcanoes look like tiny campfires.
We're talking about Io, one of Jupiter's many moons.
But Io is no ordinary moon.
This one's a volcanic powerhouse.
Covered in hundreds of active volcanoes, spewing lava and sulfur.
It's like a molten
The
hellscape.
most volcanically active place in our entire solar system.
I'm trying to imagine that, and it sounds absolutely terrifying.
It's a sight to behold if you could withstand the heat and the toxic atmosphere.
But what makes Io so much more volcanic than Earth? We've got volcanoes, but nothing like that.
It's all thanks to Jupiter.
The big guy himself.
Jupiter's gravity is immense.
And it's constantly pulling on Io.
Plus, Io's got these neighboring moons.
So it's getting tugged from all sides.
Exactly. It's like a cosmic tug of war.
But instead of ropes, it's gravity doing the pulling.
And all that pulling creates friction inside Io.
Friction, so like rubbing your hands together.
Kind of. But on a planetary scale.
It's like Io's insides are constantly being churned up.
Leading to a buildup of intense heat.
And that heat needs to escape somehow.
Through volcanoes. Lots and lots of volcanoes.
So it's like a cosmic pressure cooker, constantly letting off steam.
Exactly. And those volcanic eruptions are so powerful they can be seen from space.
From space. That's incredible. It really puts Earth's volcanoes to shame.
And here's another mind-blowing fact. Those eruptions actually contribute to Jupiter's faint ring system.
Io's volcanoes are feeding Jupiter's rings.
It's like a volcanic supply chain across millions of miles.
Space is seriously wild.
It's a constant reminder that we've only scratched the surface of what's out there.
Okay, we've had a spinning football planet and a volcanic moon.
What could possibly top those?
How about something that's not even from our solar system?
Now you're talking.
Enter Oumuamua.
The first confirmed interstellar visitor to our solar system.
It's like something straight out of a sci-fi novel.
This object zipped through our solar system back in 2017.
I remember that. It made headlines everywhere.
And astronomers were scrambling to figure out what it was.
Because it was like nothing we'd ever seen before.
First of all, its shape.
It wasn't round, was it?
Not even close. Imagine a giant cosmic cigar.
A cigar. Like 100-meter-long stogie hurtling through space.
Or some people even compared it to a giant pancake tumbling end over end.
So not your typical round asteroid or comet.
Definitely not. And then there was its movement.
It wasn't behaving the way we expected.
Nope. It seemed to accelerate slightly as it moved away from the sun.
Like something was giving it an extra push.
That's what had some people speculating about alien technology.
Like an alien probe or something.
The internet had a field day with that one.
I bet they did. So, what's the verdict? Alien tech or something else?
Now, most scientists agree that Oumuamua is a natural object.
So no little green men behind the wheel.
Probably not. But its unexpected acceleration does suggest something we haven't quite figured out about how interstellar objects behave.
So it's a natural object, but still a huge mystery.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that there's so much more to learn about the universe beyond our own little corner of it.
We got this brief glimpse of something truly alien.
Something that formed around another star who knows how many light years away.
It's mind-blowing.
It really makes you realize how vast and diverse the universe truly is.
Okay, we've had a spinning football, a volcanic moon, and an interstellar visitor shaped like a cigar.
What's next?
How about a moon that just can't seem to follow the rules?
A rebellious moon. I'm intrigued.
Let's head to Neptune
The icy giant.
and meet its largest moon, Triton.
Triton's got a unique look, but it's motion that really sets it apart.
It's not your typical moon, just orbiting neatly around its planet.
Not at all. Triton orbits Neptune in the opposite direction to Neptune's rotation.
Right, so it's going backward.
It's like swimming against the current.
A cosmic rebel. But how does a moon end up in a backward orbit like that?
It's a strong sign that Triton wasn't originally formed around Neptune.
It's an imposter.
In a way, yes. Astronomers think Triton was probably a free-floating object out in the Kuiper Belt.
So it was just minding its own business, hanging out in the cosmic freezer,
Until it got a little too close to Neptune.
and Neptune's gravity snagged it.
Exactly. Neptune's gravity was too strong to resist, and Triton got captured into orbit.
Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But that capture event led to its unusual retrograde orbit.
It's like Triton got pulled over for speeding and ended up in cosmic detention.
But this detention has a pretty spectacular view, considering Triton's surface.
Okay, aside from its rebellious orbit, what else makes Triton stand out?
Well, for a moon so far from the sun, it's surprisingly active.
Active? What does that mean?
We're talking geysers erupting nitrogen gas.
Geysers. Like Old Faithful, but on a moon of Neptune.
Exactly. And these geysers are shooting nitrogen gas miles high.
That's insane. But how is that even possible? It's so cold out there.
It's a testament to the power of internal heat.
Internal heat. So Triton's got a hot core.
There's definitely some internal heat source, maybe from radioactive decay or tidal forces.
So even in the frozen depths of the outer solar system,
There's energy and activity shaping these incredible worlds.
it makes you wonder what other secrets might be hiding beneath the surface of these icy moons.
The possibilities are endless.
Well, we've seen volcanoes on Io, geysers on Triton.
It seems like our solar system's more lively than we ever imagined.
It makes you wonder what other surprises might be lurking out there just waiting to be discovered.
And that's what makes exploring our cosmic neighborhood so exciting.
From volcanoes and geysers,
To a moon that looks like it belongs in a kitchen pantry.
we're really getting a taste of the solar system's weird side.
Speaking of weird,
You said it.
you know what really blew my mind from this podcast?
Hit me with it.
Saturn's Hexagon.
A hexagon. Like the shape?
Yeah, a giant hexagon.
Saturn.
Right at its north pole.
I'm trying to picture this, and it's not computing.
It's a storm, a massive swirling jet stream.
A hexagonal storm.
And it's huge.
How huge?
Big enough to fit 4 Earths inside.
4 Earths. Okay, that's officially mind-blowing.
And the crazy thing is, it's been there for decades.
Decades. So this isn't some fleeting weather pattern.
Nope, it's stable, persistent.
It's like nature took a geometry lesson and decided to apply it to a storm.
It really is. Now, how does a storm get a shape like that?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
Well, scientists are still trying to fully understand it.
It's got to be more than just random winds blowing around.
It's thought to be related to the interaction of different atmospheric gases.
So Saturn's atmosphere is basically a giant chemistry experiment.
In a way, yes. And the planet's rotation also plays a role.
The spinning creates these patterns.
And for some reason, a hexagon is the most stable pattern that emerges on Saturn.
It's like a cosmic kaleidoscope, but instead of pretty beads, we've got swirling gases creating this mind-boggling shape.
It's a reminder that the universe is full of surprises.
Speaking of surprises,
Let's talk about a moon that looks like it came straight out of a kitchen pantry.
you mean Hyperion, right?
That's the one. Saturn's sponge moon.
Sponge moon. What?
Literally looks like a giant sponge.
I've seen the pictures, and I still can't believe it.
It's riddled with craters, And it's got this incredibly low density.
Meaning,
It's mostly ice with very little rock, which makes it super porous.
it's like a cosmic pumice stone.
Exactly. Now, if its appearance wasn't weird enough,
There's more.
oh, there's always more. Hyperion's rotation is totally chaotic.
Chaotic, what does that mean?
Most moons spin on a stable axis, like a top.
Right, makes sense.
But Hyperion's tumbling erratically as it orbits Saturn.
Like it's completely off balance.
It's like a drunken space sponge just careening around.
Gotta be those gravitational tugs from Saturn, right?
They're definitely playing havoc with Hyperion's rotation, adding to its overall weirdness.
Okay, we've seen a planet shaped like a football, a moon that looks like a sponge.
And let's not forget the dog bone asteroid, Cleopatra.
Right, Cleopatra. How could we forget that one? It's like the solar system's got a thing for weird shapes.
It seems that way. Now, a lot of these strange shapes are thought to be the result of cosmic collisions.
Makes sense, things smashing into each other.
It's a violent universe out there.
And speaking of cosmic violence,
Remember Shoemaker Levy 9?
the comet that took a nosedive into Jupiter?
That's the one, back in 1994.
There's like a string of cosmic firecrackers going off.
Jupiter's gravity had ripped the comet apart into a string of fragments.
And then, bam! They slammed into Jupiter's atmosphere.
The energy released from those impacts was staggering.
It's amazing Jupiter survived.
Well, Jupiter is huge, but those impacts did leave temporary scars on its atmosphere.
Scars. Like bruises.
More like giant dark smudges, visible for months after the impacts.
It's a good reminder that while our solar system seems stable,
There are incredibly powerful forces at play.
capable of causing chaos and destruction on a planetary scale.
It makes you realize how vulnerable even a giant like Jupiter can be.
Now, from those fiery impacts,
Let's cool things down a bit.
and talk about those icy visitors that grace our skies from time to time.
Comets, those ethereal travelers from the distant reaches of our solar system.
I love seeing comets, those bright streaks across the night sky.
They're like time capsules from the early days of our solar system.
Chunks of ice, dust, and rock, frozen in time for billions of years.
And when they get close enough to the sun, they put on a spectacular show.
Those tails stretching out for millions of miles.
It's the sun's heat that transforms them, causing the ice and dust to vaporize and create those glowing tails.
It's like a cosmic firework display.
But where do these icy wanderers come from?
Yeah, where do they hang out when they're not putting on a show for us?
Most comets come from two distant icy regions, the Kuiper Belt, which we've already talked about, and the Oort cloud.
The Oort cloud, that's way out there, right?
It's a vast spherical halo of icy objects that surrounds our entire solar system.
Like a giant cosmic freezer storing these ancient remnants.
And then something nudges them out of their icy slumber, sending them on a long journey toward the sun.
It must take thousands, maybe even millions of years for them to make that trip.
It's a long, lonely journey, but it culminates in that spectacular display we see as comets.
It's amazing to think that something that happened billions of years ago when our solar system was forming.
Can still have such visible effects today,
These comets are like messengers from the distant past.
carrying clues about the conditions that existed when our solar system was just a swirling cloud of gas and dust.
Okay, from icy visitors to those fiery streaks that light up our night skies.
Let's clear up some confusion about those space rocks that occasionally make it to Earth.
You mean meteoroids, meteors, and meteorites?
Exactly. It's easy to mix them up, but think of it this way.
Okay, I'm listening.
It all starts with a meteoroid, a small piece of rock or metal orbiting the sun.
Like a tiny asteroid.
When it enters Earth's atmosphere and burns up, we see it as a meteor, that streak of light we call a shooting star.
Ah, so it's a matter of location.
Exactly. Meteoroid in space, meteor in the air,
And if it survives that fiery descent and lands on Earth?
then it becomes a meteorite.
So it's all about location. Meteoroid in space, meteor in the air, meteorite on the ground. I think I finally got it. But are all meteorites just rocks?
Some are more than just rocks.
Like what?
They can be pieces of other worlds delivered right to our doorstep.
Pieces of other worlds.
They can be chunks of asteroids, planets, even the moon and Mars.
So if I find a rock in my backyard, it could be a piece of Mars.
It's possible, though very rare. But some meteorites, especially those from Mars or the moon, can be incredibly valuable.
So it's like winning the cosmic lottery if you find a piece of Mars in your backyard. Speaking of other worlds, let's journey back out to the Kuiper Belt,
That icy realm beyond Neptune.
where Haumea and countless other objects are hanging out.
The Kuiper Belt is like a giant cosmic junkyard, full of remnants from the early solar system.
But instead of rusty car parts, we've got icy bodies.
And these icy bodies, called Kuiper Belt objects, or KBOs, hold crucial clues to the solar system's early history.
So by studying these KBOs, we can learn about how our solar system formed.
Exactly. It's like piecing together a giant cosmic puzzle.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Tell me more.
Some of those KBOs have really weird orbits.
Weird out.
They're highly elongated and tilted, way out of whack compared to the planets.
Ah, you're talking about the evidence for Planet 9.
Planet 9. Are you saying there might be another planet out there that we haven't discovered yet?
It's a possibility. The gravitational influence of a large, unseen planet could explain those strange KBO orbits.
So there's something massive lurking out there in the darkness, tugging on these objects.
It's a tantalizing idea, and the search for Planet 9 is one of the most exciting frontiers in astronomy today.
If they find it, it'll completely rewrite our understanding of our solar system.
It would be a major discovery, no doubt. Now, from the possibility of a hidden planet
Let's zoom out even further.
to the very edge of our solar system's influence.
Where our sun's reach finally gives way to interstellar space.
You're talking about the heliosphere.
It sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
It does have a sci-fi ring to it, but it's very real. It's this vast, bubble-like region created by the solar wind.
The solar wind. That's those charged particles constantly streaming from the sun, right?
That's it. And the solar wind basically inflates this bubble, pushing back against the interstellar medium.
The interstellar medium, that's the stuff that fills the space between stars.
Exactly. So that the heliosphere is like the sun's personal space, extending far beyond the planets.
Protecting us from all that interstellar stuff.
In a way, yes. Now, where the solar wind collides with the interstellar medium,
That's where things get really interesting.
that boundary is called the heliopause.
The heliopause, the edge of the sun's realm.
It's a dynamic and turbulent region where the sun's influence finally wanes and the environment of interstellar space takes over.
It's like a cosmic border crossing where things get a lot more alien.
It's a truly alien environment out there, colder, denser, and bombarded by cosmic rays.
This is pretty harsh.
It's definitely not a place for humans, at least not with our current technology.
It makes you realize just how vast and unforgiving space can be.
And how much we still have to learn about the universe beyond our own little bubble.
Speaking of bubbles, there's one bubble we haven't explored in detail yet.
I mean, Pluto.
The one and only. It's been through a lot. Demoted from planet status.
But still a fascinating world in its own right.
Especially after those incredible images from the New Horizons fly by.
It went from a blurry dot to a world with stunning complexity.
And what surprised everyone was how active it is.
Active? You mean for a world so far from the sun?
Exactly. We expected a cold, dead world, but Pluto's got it all. Vast plains of nitrogen ice, towering water ice mountains.
Even glaciers that are constantly flowing and changing.
It's like a whole other Earth out there, just with a very different set of ingredients.
And let's not forget that heart-shaped feature that captured everyone's imagination.
Tombo Regio, right? It looks like Pluto's wearing its heart on its sleeve.
It's actually a giant glacier made of nitrogen ice, thought to be driven by convection.
Convection. Like a lava lamp, but with ice.
Exactly. Warmer nitrogen ice rises from below, creating those distinctive patterns.
So even on a frigid world, billions of miles from the sun,
There's internal heat and geological activity shaping the landscape.
it makes you wonder what other icy worlds might be hiding beneath their frozen surfaces. It's incredible, right? Pluto's more dynamic than we ever imagined.
It's a reminder that even in the coldest, most distant reaches of our solar system,
There's still so much happening.
these worlds are constantly evolving, changing.
Speaking of Pluto,
Yeah.
what about its atmosphere? It's got one, right?
It does, although it's incredibly thin.
Like, how thin are we talking?
About 100,000 times thinner than Earth's atmosphere.
Wow, that's barely there.
It's tenuous, for sure, but it does some pretty crazy things.
Like what?
Well, as Pluto moves further from the sun in its elliptical orbit.
It gets even colder, right?
Exactly. And it gets so cold that the atmosphere actually freezes.
Freezes the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, the nitrogen in the atmosphere freezes and snows down to the surface,
It's like a planet-wide snow globe.
creating a layer of nitrogen frost.
So the atmosphere disappears.
Not permanently. Then, as Pluto gets closer to the sun again,
Things warm up.
and that nitrogen frost sublimates back into gas, replenishing the atmosphere.
So it's like a cosmic weather cycle. But instead of rain and snow,
It's nitrogen frost coming and going.
Pluto's atmosphere is playing hide and seek.
It's one of the most unique atmospheric cycles in our solar system.
Well, I think it's safe to say we've uncovered some truly bizarre objects in our solar system.
From egg-shaped dwarf planets with rings,
To hexagonal storms and sponge-like moons.
it's been a wild ride.
I hope everyone listening has come away with a sense of awe.
And a renewed appreciation for the sheer strangeness and wonder of our cosmic neighborhood.
Absolutely. Because out there in the vastness of space,
There are countless mysteries yet to be uncovered.
and who knows what incredible discoveries await us in the future.
One thing's for sure, though.
What's that?
The universe will never cease to amaze us.
That's a guarantee. So to everyone listening,
Keep looking up
stay curious
and never stop exploring.
because the universe is full of surprises
Mhm.
just waiting to be discovered.